Welcome. 10 in the head here. We are doing a different type of 10 in the head. Normally it's 10 minutes, 10 topics, but on today's episode, we are doing a live look-in at a mock draft. Now, with 11 weeks until football has started, we will be doing a mock draft episode once a week, and on the final week, do two of them. We'll be doing from different positions every week, so you can get an idea of how I think. One of the best noises there are. This week we're starting out, and we're drafting it in the 7th spot. Kind of keeps us right in the middle. There won't be a lot of long pauses in between every pick, but we'll be doing is kind of going over who we like at the pick and where our head is at. I did just write my first mock draft article. You can find that at researchfantasy.com. It's a communal article with Nicholas Malinchek. It's a great one. Check it out. I was drafting the 11th spot there, but I figured I would be writing every week too. I might as well do a 10 in the head about it and let everyone kind of see how we go about drafting here. So right now we got 2 picks away. Obviously the running backs are going to be gone and the wide receivers are pretty much going to be there. You could go for a running back if you really feel confident in McCoy, Melvin Gordon for me, Devontae Freeman. All those are top 3 running backs after the 3. But here we are in the 7th spot. OBJ is still sitting there, who we really like a lot. AJ Green is always a good pick. For me, Jordy Nelson is probably my favorite receiver this year, besides Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown. I actually like Jordy over Julio. But with Odell Beckham sitting in the 7th spot, there's no way you can't take him. So our first pick of the draft will be wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. from the Giants, who I just love to get targets on targets. I believe 160-ish plus targets last year, and I don't see that going down at all. He is trying to get a big contract, and to show that he deserves it, he's going to be improving. But like I said, right there is Jordy Nelson going in the 8th spot. I like him more than A.J. Green, T.Y. Hilton, Mike Thomas, as some of the other wide receivers I see right there. And the reasoning for Jordy is because he is a touchdown catching machine with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And that quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, will be throwing the ball, and Jordy Nelson is the favored target. So I love going to get Jordy pretty much pick 7 and on, again, if OBJ isn't there. If OBJ would have went and Mike Evans would have been sitting there in the 7th spot, I would have gladly got Jordy Nelson over Mike Evans. However, that's not how the case went. Mike Evans went before OBJ, and I will gladly take OBJ. But now what we're going to be doing, now obviously in mock drafts you don't want to have a complete a diehard strategy that you're going to dig for. You are going to kind of go with the wind and play it by ear. So we're going to look now for running back if it falls to us. Now, I would absolutely love for Melvin Gordon to be there. But if he isn't, and we're looking at Jordan Howard, DeMarco Murray, Jay Ajayi, I'm not the biggest fan of any of those 3 running backs. Now, I also see Gronk sitting there at 20. He might be there. I'm not going to draft a tight end in the 2nd round. I know Gronk could potentially have 12 plus touchdowns, over 1,000 yards, but I'm just going to avoid him with the injury risk. But it's gonna be an interesting year for Gronk. Also, in the fact that Brandon Cooks just went to New England, they're going to be spreading the ball around. You know Edelman will get his targets. You know Cooks will get his targets. They have a good run game, solid run game, and they do like to dump out of the backfield. They do have Deion Lewis still, James White, if they both make the squad. Obviously, new additions in Rex Burkhead and Mike Gillislee, who is one of my favorite sleepers, who we're going to definitely be trying to get around the 4th round. He's been moving up in every ADP, maybe because I've been writing about him nonstop. I love the guy. But we're going to see if we can get him. So we're starting the 2nd round now. We have the 6th pick in the 2nd round. You can see we already have 3 people dropped out, and they'll be automatic picks. So it'll start to go a little bit quicker, too, for anyone who's getting bored. But this basically, again, like I said, is a mock draft for anyone who doesn't want to read my mock draft articles and just kind of want to watch how I go about it and listen. This is a great one. But here we're a pick away, looking at Dez, Ajayi, Cooper, Gronk, Miller, Alshon. I mean, all these guys have the potential to be very good. A lot of people are high on Ajayi this year. So you'd probably be seeing them take them, see them take him in the second round. And actually, a late second round pick isn't the worst for him. He is ranked 18th. At the 18th pick, it's not the worst. If Dez doesn't go right here, which he didn't, because we saw Lamar Miller go, there's a good chance I like Dez this year. But really, my favorite out of all these guys is Amari Cooper. I think he's about to have a breakout season. So there's no reason to wasting time. We're going to go with our second wide receiver, and that's Amari Cooper. Now, normally I won't go high receivers early. I like to go high running backs early. But in the 7th spot, it's just not really falling to how I want it. So we're probably going to try to stack up on backs in the next 3 or 4 rounds. But with flex here in ESPN and 2 receivers, I have no problem going 2 receivers big. Both of these receivers should have just stellar numbers this year. So I'm very excited that that's who we got. Again, Dez is – oh, there goes Dez. I was going to say he was dropping pretty low. Ranked 16th, drafted at 22, actually behind Doug Baldwin. That's pretty much it. Rob Gronkowski. Other than that, it was a running back trend for 5 of the last 6 picks, 6 of the last 7 picks besides me getting Cooper. But yeah, so we're about to be rounding up round 2, with round 3 coming. Back to the 7th pick. We need to start figuring out who is actually going to be a consistent play week in and week out. Right now is not a time to take a chance in someone that could be a stud. Christian McCaffrey, Marshawn Lynch, 2 players that I'm just not sold on. I do like Lynch, and I like Lynch as an NFL player, and I hope the best for him. I just don't know exactly if he's going to be who we want to base our running backs around. However, if it comes down to it and Fournette's gone, Gurley's gone, I don't have a problem getting Lynch in this mock draft to see if maybe he could be – I mean, he a stud. He is in Oakland's offense, who has one of the best offensive lines. Latavius Murray was a stud last year with 12 touchdowns behind this line. They get the red zone options. Derek Carr knows how to lead the ball. Now, that leads me to a point, if Lynch is there, do we want to go Lynch and Cooper, the top receiver, top running back for the Oakland Raiders? Are we buying on Oakland this year? That's what you'd have to ask yourself. It's hard. For me, it's always difficult to get a player from the same team unless I'm doubling up quarterback and wide receiver. Unless it's the New England Patriots, which I don't mind how many Patriots I have. But looking at it here, we might even do something a little bit crazier than normal. I see Aaron Rodgers sitting back there, and Rodgers would not be a horrible pick at this point. Again, that would be leaving us low on running backs and no running backs until the 4th round. And that's kind of a tough that's just a deal breaker almost, but Lynch is gone. He went a couple picks ago. Cooks, who was right up there, would be another one that I would like. I do like Sammy a lot. I do like Landry a lot. Both of them are good. So right now my thought process is Landry Watkins for a 3rd receiver or Aaron Rodgers, and let just get a quarterback early, which I don't normally like to do. But looking at him and thinking of them all, I actually like Sammy Watkins. And let's do something a little bit different in this mock, and let's go heavy wide receiver set for 3. First 3 rounds, 3 wide receivers, OBJ, Amari Cooper, Sammy Watkins, all different buys, so that is good. Now, I've said this before in my articles, and I've said it before in 10 in the Head. You don't want to focus on bye weeks. You just don't want to focus on bye weeks. But that is just something to pay attention to if you're going to go 3 running backs and 3 receivers early. So now we're sitting here watching the 3rd round wind down. Still heavy wide receivers are listed. Brady's still available. Ingram looks like the top running back, ranked ESPN-wise. Aaron Rodgers still available too. I overlooked that. And Jarvis Landry. If Jarvis Landry comes to me, I guarantee it would be taking him. But it looks like we're going to want to just try running backs. I know these receivers are all great. I like Carlos Hyde and I like Isaiah Crowell. Both of them available as of right now. If they can last 7 more picks to me, then I will gladly start my running backs with them. There goes Crowell. So we got Hyde and Ingram as the top 2 listed running backs. Ty Montgomery down there. Bilal Powell, who's an underrated running back for the Jets this year, in my opinion. But I also haven't mocked him yet. I just don't know if I believe in the Jets' passing game to open up holes for Bilal Powell. So it's going to be an interesting choice. if Hyde is gone, if I'm looking at Ingram, Powell, Montgomery, out of those three, I probably will avoid Powell and Ingram and go with Montgomery. I'm just not drafting Mark Ingram this year, by the way, for anyone that's paying attention. I had him last year, and he ended up finishing, top 20 running backs, top 15 running backs, I'm pretty sure. But he was just so inconsistent, I didn't know what week to start him. And look at there, coming up, Carlos Hyde is still available. Allen Robinson is too, which is actually a good pick, but I'm going to go with my first running back of the draft and go with Carlos Hyde. Looking over, I do like Danny Woodhead. I can see his name popping up. This is a PPR mock, and I do almost only PPR leagues. I think it makes the game it just makes the stats more comparable from the NFL to fantasy. Someone who gets 100 yards and 2 receptions shouldn't get the same amount of points as someone who has 100 yards and 10 receptions. In my opinion, the person with 10 receptions for 100 yards made more of an impact on the game. This is why I like fantasy leagues that do first downs as an extra point. It just helps the team out. What helps the team out should help your fantasy team out. But we're 4 rounds in. Carlos Hyde is our 1 running back. OBJ, Amari Cooper, Sammy Watkins are 3 receivers. Still need a quarterback, tight end, another running back. But I'm not going to jump on board of a tight end this early anymore. After Kelsey, Reed, and Gronk are gone, if I don't find myself in a spot where I feel those are the best players available, then I'm waiting until the last round to get my tight end. I have no problem going with Doyle this year, Fleener this year, Ebron this year. If any of them last to the 3rd round, Austin Hooper as a deep sleeper, in my opinion. I already wrote about that and another research fantasy article. So we're looking here. Emmanuel Sanders still available as the top 1. He is probably my favorite of the Denver wide receivers over Demaryius Thomas. In the mock article that I wrote about, I ended up getting both Sanders and Thomas. I don't recommend that too much to get 2 top wide receivers for a team, but Denver might be that certainty that it's okay. If you get Jordy and Devontae Adams, that won't be too bad either. I can probably see that. But I do like Emmanuel Sanders over Demaryius Thomas this year. I just think the quarterbacks are going to be a little bit more improved in Denver, so you're going to want to get a Denver receiver if available. But again, it just didn't work out in our mock this week. But I do just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to 10 in the Head, first of 12 mock draft edition. Obviously, this isn't 10 minutes, 10 topics. We're going a lot longer. A whole different scheme for this one. As you noticed, we did have our new intro, and we're going to have a new outro. Still repping the Devil's Cut Band as our theme. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. It's fun. I love it. I love mocking. I love anyone who wants to see or be inside someone's head as they draft. This is a great way to do it. We got 2 straight auto picks, and it's going to be 1 pick before us. Emmanuel's still sitting there. If Emmanuel's there, I don't care who I am. I'm getting Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, sitting the 40th ranked receiver, and I'll be at the 55th pick. That's a steal right there. That's not a sleeper, but that's a steal. So we'll see how it happens. If he does go, I'll probably go on Drew Brees. I will take a quarterback early right now. Jeez Louise, Matt Ryan went. I was kind of hoping they would take Emmanuel Sanders, so I would get him. It would be the best steal probably to get Emmanuel Sanders right now. Looking it over, that would be a solid 4 receivers. I'd probably take 1 more receiver just later on in the rounds. But I think what I'm going to do is let Emmanuel stay there and let someone else get that steal, even though I was just talking him up. I do like Danny Woodhead here in a PPR league. But with Drew Brees sitting at 55th, I have no problem getting him in the 5th round to man my team. So we're gonna pull the trigger on him. Man, I was debating between Emmanuel and Danny, but we're going to pull the trigger on Drew Brees. Get our quarterback. We won't be taking another quarterback for the rest of the draft. You only want 1 quarterback, 1 tight end on your team, or if not, you'll be just dealing with headache after headache, week after week. So just go with 1. If you are going to get a quarterback, you don't have to get one this early. Have no problem waiting. Still needing another running back, but I tell you what, Dante Moncrief is on my big sleeper list. I liked him out last year, and it didn't work out per se. He was a consistent touchdown catcher for me in the mid-weeks, and that helped me win a couple games. But I think this year is going to be his year to break out if injuries don't plague him or his quarterback. But Both players coming off of injuries. It is kind of risky. I see why a lot of people aren't a big fan of Dante Moncrief. Looking it over, Frank Gore just went. That was going to be one of my top running back selections. But Woodhead's still there. If he survives, I have no problem with that. Dalvin Cook is a running back I'm just going to be avoiding this year. I have no faith in Dalvin Cook. I do like C.J. Anderson right above him, and he will be my next pick if available. Over Danny Woodhead, probably. Yes, Woodhead in a PPR is projected. He is projected to get 60 receptions in comparison to the 29. That's 41 more points, or 31 more points, just alone off of receptions. Adding the 260 yards, that's 26 more points. But if you're going to look at it, I just think C.J. Anderson's going to be the workhorse in Denver. If injuries don't plague him, Jamal Charles is backing him up, and he's a good running back, but I'm not sold that Jamal Charles is going to take away a bunch of rushes for C.J. Anderson. Above him is Spencer Ware, who I do like. He's getting a lot of hate so far. A lot of people are on the Kareem Hunt hype train. But again, I just don't like rookie running backs. I will avoid him damn near every year. There is one late sleeper, Jamal Williams from the Packers, rookie running back that I do like. But I'm not trying to spend a early pick on a rookie running back. Spencer Ware went. Danny Woodhead went. One pick before us. DJ doesn't go. We can tell you that much right now. We will be getting him. Other than that, another good receiving running back, Theo Riddick. Andrew Luck goes. So we're taking C.J. Anderson to be our running back number 2. And so far, I like the look of our starting roster. Running backs definitely going to need help, but I have no problem trying to get my consistent running backs later on. Normally, I wouldn't do that. Normally, it would be running backs early and wide receivers late because there are so many of them that I like. But there's still running backs available that I like right now. As one pops up, Amir Abdullah for my hometown Detroit Lions. I like him a lot to come out of injury and produce not only running the ball, but finding the ball in the air as well. He's a good catcher, and he's a great yards after catch running back. Paul Perkins is right above him, who had 0 touchdowns last year, but I'm not saying that that's going to happen again. Now, of course, he probably won't have 0 touchdowns. That's a pretty obvious statement in my mind, but Paul Perkins could be way better than people are thinking. He is projected to get almost 1,000 yards with 3 touchdowns, but the Giants will be getting in the red zone. And Paul Perkins, just another year. He had a full year of experience, or almost a full year of experience, and he should be the main guy in the Giants. There was reports earlier in the month that Orleans Daraka was getting running back 1 reps, and that did kind of scare from getting Paul Perkins a little bit. Rob Kelly right down there. However, Washington runs the ball some of the least with Detroit. That's why these 2 running backs are ranked so low. But with a pick away, with Abdullah, Perkins, and Rob Kelly out there, we're going to keep trying to stack up our running backs. Perkins goes. I'll go with Amir Abdullah as our first bench player. So I got Abdullah, C.J. Anderson, Carlos Hyde. Those are 3 starting running backs that should have consistent weeks of consistent points. I'm not saying home run points, but they have the potential for a 2-touchdown day, all 3 of them. So I like that. I like where running backs are going. Here, if it comes to us, we are definitely going to be taking Willie Snead next, a stud sleeper that is getting a lot of attention, and for good reason. Why he's ranked 88th, why he's going near the 8th round is beyond me. Honestly, if I didn't feel like if I would have went 2 running backs first and then just been going wide receivers in the 7th round, I probably would have reached down for Willie Snead. And speaking of the devil, there he goes at 82 again. His ADP is going to be moving up, and you will have to end up drafting him in the 6th or 7th round come late August, maybe even 5th round if you want Willie Snead on your team. That's just how it is. Before early in June, you could see him go into the 9th round. It was awesome. I was having a great time drafting him every draft. Mike Wallace still sitting there, who has been a consistent wide receiver for the last X amount of years. I don't even know how many years he's been in the league, 7. He just catches the ball. And on a team that lost Steve Smith, Dennis Pitta, Justin Forsett, their fullback, I can't even try to pronounce his name, Jersnick, whatever it may be. Wallace could be in line for some more receptions. Obviously, they did add in Jeremy Maclin and Danny Woodhead. Another reason why I like Danny Woodhead. They just stole the ball in Baltimore. Marty Morningwig's first year as offensive coordinator in Baltimore last year, and they threw the ball over 600 times, leading the league. There goes Mike Wallace right there. Kind of glad he didn't get to me. As much as I do like him, I didn't want to draft him. But, I mean, if he was available, I kind of would be sitting with my arms crossed. Cesar Postis down here I do not like. I'm going to wait for Thomas Rawls in later rounds to see if he's there. But, excuse me, we're looking like we're about 4 picks away. We're going to be trying to jump our benches up here now, just kind of get as many players as we can that have the potential for consistent years. I'm not looking for the guy who could be a home run hitter, because in the simple fact I've tried that before and it just doesn't ever work out for me. I want the guy that's going to produce 20 attempts, 10 targets every single week. Corey Coleman is one of those people. I like him a lot. Eric Decker is a great red zone target for Marcus Mariota. I like him more than I like Corey Davis, but Cam Meredith is going to be getting a lot of targets from Mike Glennon. Rob Kelly is still there, and if Rob Kelly is there when I'm there, I can promise you I'll be going with another running back one. I love running back ones. Why would you be drafting Dalvin Cook, a running back two, because he has the potential to lead Minnesota? Where Rob Kelly, he's got Perrine backing him up, who's a good sleeper, but Rob Kelly showed excellent rushing IQ. He's not great catching the ball out of the backfield, but that's okay with me. I will gladly take another running back one to go on my team. So Robert Kelly, Washington, running back, joining the likes of Team Faber over here. Flying through now with a lot of people not drafted anymore. We got a lot of auto picks going on, which you never really like because it just kind of consistently picks the top players of ESPN. But, you know, a mock draft is a mock draft. It just gives you an idea of drafting in the 7th spot in round 9 who should be available. So that's why we do mock drafts. And once again, thanks for listening here. We're going to fly through these auto picks real quick. Doom, 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 doom. One picker, followed by 2 auto picks, followed by someone else who's picking still, followed by me. So we got 4 picks before us. We're going to start looking. I do like Randall Cobb a lot this year. Had I got Spencer Ware, I would almost be going with Kareem Hunt right now just to see, you know, what happens in Kansas City. Though Spencer Ware won the starting spot last year, everyone seems to be on that Hunt train. Rookie running backs scare me. I'm just going to say that over and over again. Right now, I see another running back one standing there, and honestly, like the running backs that we have here all have good chances of not being stud running backs. So the more you can add in, the better it is. Jonathan Stewart had his 2nd most rushing yards last year since 2009 or 2011. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, they drafted McCaffrey 8th, but McCaffrey has been lining up in the slot. They have the potential to put him in the 3rd down back, which is fine. Let Jay Stu do what he's got to do. And I'm going to draft Jonathan Stewart here. I got him in my article that I wrote, mock draft style, when I was drafting out of the 11th spot. I don't remember what round. I think it was the 10th round, so I think I'm getting him a round earlier than I did last time. But, again, he's just a running back one. In the 9th round, I'll gladly take it. If you're looking at running backs, we'll go take a peek real quick. How many other starting running backs are even available? Latavius Murray. Jacquizz Rodgers will be starting probably the first 3 weeks in Tampa. Jeremy Hill apparently is going to be splitting time with Joe Mixon. Terrence West starting for the first 4 weeks while Dixon is suspended, which I'm pretty sure I saw Dixon up here. I did. That could be a starting running back from the 4th or 5th week and on. However, I'm not sold that Terrence West isn't just going to win that starting spot. Or when Dixon comes, they're just going to do RBVC. So he does kind of scare me. I hate drafting people that are missing the first 4 weeks. Le'Veon Bell last year was just a different player. I mean, I tried to get Le'Veon Bell in every league because I knew once he came back he was going to be a stud, which he was. I don't know if we're going to be drafting a running back here, though, so let's go to all and see if there's some receivers that stick out. Macklin actually sticks out a lot. I do like Latavius Murray a lot. I actually wrote an article on him for Research Fantasy. And honestly, I mean, we have 3 stud wide receivers. I'm going to go with another running back one, Latavius Murray. So that's going to be probably it for my running backs. Probably going to get – like wide receivers go so deep. That's the reason why I have no problem getting running back after running back after running back after running back. And you'll notice that. I mean, this right here, we went, 6 of the last 7 picks for running backs other than Drew Brees. 5 straight running backs, and C.J. Abdullah, Kelly, Stewart, Murray. I have no problem with that. They're all starting running backs. They all have the potential to be a starting running back throughout the rest of the year. We have 3 more bench positions and a tight end before we go for our defense and kicker. So it's going to be fun to see that. Our tight end will probably be our last pick of the draft. So we're going to be probably looking at strictly wide receivers. I wish Macklin would stay there, but he just went. You saw that going with the auto picks. So we're going to be looking. Hunter Henry at tight end, Eric Ebron at tight end. We're just going to avoid both of them. I like them both, but they both scare me. Ebron with 1 touchdown last year in week 1, didn't catch one from there on out. Hunter Henry showed great potential, 8 touchdowns, over 700 yards. But, I mean, Antonio Gates is there. Who knows what happens? Kevin White is one of my stud sleeper receivers for the simple fact that Chicago, Cam Meredith is going to be getting double covered. Glennon is not going to want to throw the ball double coverage a lot. So you're going to see Kevin White, who hopefully can stay healthy this year. Now, it's a lot of eggs in the Kevin White basket to say that he is going to stay healthy. But instead of him, actually, I like Zay Jones even more. This is a rookie wide receiver who I think can do very good under the Tyrod Taylor quarterbacking with Buffalo. So we got Zay Jones. We'll see who's available in the next round. If Kevin White still is, that would be great. Robert Woods is a wide receiver 1 who is around deep into drafts, and Goff is only getting better. They improved their offensive line. They got a new coach, new offensive regime. I think Robert Woods has the potential to be a very good sleeper in a lot of PPR leagues. He's going to be – he didn't produce a lot in Buffalo, but that's okay because he is in a new area. He's in a new city, and Los Angeles is going to have to throw the ball. So I like Robert Woods. It doesn't look like he's going to be available. One of my favorite tight ends, Jack Doyle, is popping up. So instead of waiting to the last round to get a tight end, I might reach for Doyle in the 138th pick and see what wide receivers come after. Doing a quick rundown. We got kickers starting to come up. Don't ever get a kicker until your last pick of the draft. Justin Tucker is a great kicker, but he is not going to outproduce weekly every other kicker in the league. Kickers are just a coin flip, man. Pick one in the last pick. Same with defense, second to last pick. Just get them then. Looks like we got 2 auto picks before us, so once this guy drafts, we'll be right on the clock pretty much, with Doyle still sitting there and Kevin White. Kind of a toss-up who we like the most out of them, as much as I do like Kevin White, and might even be writing an article on him and why I have faith that he will actually produce this year, other than just my gut telling me that his injuries are in the past. I'm probably going to be taking Jack Doyle if available, and it looks like he is, so we're going to go with Doyle in this round, leaving us with 2 more picks before our final defense and kicker picks. So we'll be looking at wide receivers and possibly even another running back to see who is going to take up those final 2 bench positions. Now, wide receivers, running backs, you'll find that in the course of the season, there's a wide receiver 1 real quick on the note that isn't being drafted until late. I have no problem going with Quincy Enunwa. Again, the Jets are going to just have to throw the ball. That's going to be a thing. They're going to throw it. It's going to happen. So if he's available after all these auto picks, I'll gladly be getting Quincy Enunwa. But we'll see. We'll see. Taylor Gabriel right behind him. Another great, I think, option for wide receiver. I think he's going to take over Sanu as the number 2 spot, or best number 2 wide receiver for Atlanta. That doesn't mean he's going to be playing on the outside. You could still be seeing him take snaps from the slot. Either or, I like Atlanta to throw the ball. Now, do I think they'll be as prolific as they were last year? No, but they're still going to need to throw the ball, like I'm saying. But it looks like Quincy Enunwa might be available unless he is snaked right from under my nose. We'll see here. Guy's taking a little bit. He's deciding. Tavon Austin up there has been being said as getting a bigger role in the new offense for Los Angeles. But Enunwa's there, and we'll take Enunwa. Another good wide receiver one to see if things go well for him. Now, you can see a consistency. I like the starters. I'm not big on trying to buy a backup or a wide receiver too. I did get Zay Jones, but that's a one-off. Not big on getting running backs, receivers, tight ends that aren't going to see the most snaps on their team. People are like, is Christian McCaffrey going to be the best rookie running back? I don't even think he's going to be the best on his team. So why would I be wasting an early pick for him? Coming back to us, it looks like Taylor Gabriel is going to even still be there, and I will have no problem getting him over these wide receivers that I'm seeing. I do like Allen Hurns. I do like Tyler Lockett entering his third season. Kenny Stills is there, but he's a home run hitter, and I'm not a home run hitter kind of guy. Give me Taylor Gabriel to go out there and get some good catches every week. As much as most of you are probably tuning out now that we've gotten through everyone, if you are paying attention, I'm going to go through my defense and kicker and just kind of explain why I like the certain defense and kicker that I'm drafting at the time. And then we're going to wind down, and that's going to be the 10 in the Head, episode 11, first mock draft edition, first of 12. Pay attention every week. We'll be coming out with one. Hopefully every Sunday. That would be my ideal timing for it, but who knows how things work out. But I just can't wait for football to be starting. We're 11 weeks away. We got 12 spots to do mock drafts from. It's gonna be fun. I have most fun drafting 10, 11, and 12, but it is great to get David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott on your team if you're drafting early. So it'll be fun to see what those mock drafts end up like. We got one pick here before we're getting our defense. I always go defense before kicker. Looking at these defenses, I like them a lot. The Giants defense is going to be very good this year, but I'm going to go with the Falcons defense. Now, they played the Bears week 1, and that's why I'm going with the Falcons defense, because I'm not expecting Glennon or Trubisky not to throw 2 interceptions a game. And if Falcons adding Dontario Poe and playing the Bears in week 1, that's going to be good. Now, when you are drafting defense, look who they play week 1, 2, 3, 4. If they're playing the Saints, the Patriots, the Falcons, and the Packers, why would you draft that defense? Because last year they were good and they have the potential to be good. That's for the first 4 weeks. You're going to be playing from behind because your defense is playing such a good offense. So Falcons, I noticed, played Bears week 1. After week 1, I'll see who they play. If they're playing the Saints, then guess who is off my team and getting a new defense? That's right, the Falcons. Coming to our kicker, our last pick of the draft, we're going to go with, out of all these, I hate getting the Pittsburgh kickers. Blair Walsh, I just never liked after he missed that playoff field goal. Honestly, you got to go with Seabass. I mean, the name just speaks for itself. Let's get Seabass. But that's going to wind down our first mock draft edition of 10 in the Head. So thank you so much for listening. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. We have a good team here with Hyde, Anderson, Beckham, Cooper, Doyle, Watkins. Our running backs are solid in the bench. Zay Jones, Quincy Enunwa, and Taylor Gabriel. We'll be seeing who of them actually does well in the first couple weeks and who we can get rid of for the other players that weren't drafted, the undrafted free agents that are going to be solid top 10, top 20 players at their respective position. So just want to say thanks again. 10 in the Head. Always appreciate you.